Alright, now that I got the outer rocker and I got one piece of the inner rocker kind of tacked in, it really strengthened it up, which I figured it would. I still got to build a few new floorboard braces, just the brackets to go to the inner rocker. I'm probably going to build two. There's actually a body mount back here that I'm going to reuse and have a bolt go through the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and I will do that. I'll put them two braces on. But now that I got the inner and outer rocker, I went ahead and test fit the door also to make sure that my rocker on the outside still worked with my door, and it does. But one thing I wanted to do is I'd like to just go ahead and get my door done. I don't think it'll take all that much, so I'm gonna end up cutting about this much off of it here, and I'll just make a new flat piece of steel that'll go down and kind of angle and then a 90-degree bend the other way. And then I'll leave it a little long on the bend so I can put my door back on once I get this outer skin kind of cut, and I can mark this inner piece that I make. I can kind of trace it with that rocker and trim it back like 1/8 of an inch, maybe a little more. So when I get my outer skin on, I can beat it around the edge and make a factory lip kind of like this, and have it line up with my door gap. So that's pretty much what I'm gonna start working on now. I got it all marked. I'm not even sure how much that is. I just leveled it out until the rust was gone, but yeah, I think that's far enough up. And then up in here to the pocket for the hinge, I probably will have to go at least to where my mark is here and come down and make a new piece. But I'm gonna try to get this guy first, worry about the door skin up to this corner piece. So I'll put it back on, make sure it lines up, and then I'll take it back off one more time to replace the bottom. But I want to get the bottom in place where the skin goes, and then I'll worry about doing the rest. But I don't think it'll be too bad, so we'll try to go ahead and get the bottom of this at least patched up with maybe the new outer skin on tonight. That's kind of what I want to do, and we'll see if we'll get there or not. Alright, so my camera died, but I got it charged up. I went ahead and threw the door back on it. And I had to do a little bit of rolling of the edge of the bottom of the door in, which it actually still needs to go in more. But it didn't turn out too bad. The gap is good all the way across the bottom. It's a little tight in the back, but you know, it's not going to be a show car. So far, everything looks good. As far as the outer rocker is concerned, door opens and closes a hell of a lot better. It's got a lot of strength back in it. But coming down here, you can see where that chrome panel is going to bolt. You can see where my rocker right here, it doesn't have an inner on it yet, but you can see where it needs to come out to line back up with everything. So when I make this inner structure piece inside of here, I'll make it come out and meet it and hold the piece and panel where it needs to go. And then, so that's pretty much my next stop on it, is to make that patch panel piece that goes out to here, get it all tacked in, because once that's all tacked in, then the rest of my inner rocker can actually go in the car. The floors are good. Once I replace that, the floors will be good enough for the inner rocker all the way. Pretty much 6 inches in on the floor, all the way around it on the inside was pretty much bad. After I got down and started cutting on it, seeing how strong it wasn't very strong, but it's getting there slowly but surely. Alright, so I've got my filler panel tacked in. It was a little tough, but I made a little tool out of a block of wood. So I marked the gap of the widest gap point. I went a little bit farther, and I drilled it and put a Sharpie inside of it, and I ran it along my quarter panel with that panel tacked up in it to mark that line. But pretty much that made it so the sheet metal I put up in there lined up with the skin, because it's curved this way and this is already touching up top, and then it had like a 2-inch gap over here, so that made it able to just match that arc all the way through. And I got it pretty dang close. Good enough to tack in. I pretty much got this whole side, from inner rocker, outer rocker, lower door skin, inside and outside, kick panel or inside quarter panel patch done, outside one done. I made this curved piece here, which I got to beat some of it out from the inside when I get my trim back on, but that won't be no big deal. I'm going to go ahead and weld it on, then I'll beat it out later on. But yeah, everything inside and outside on this side of the car is done. The front fenders are in good shape all the way around, so I don't have to worry about any of that for patching. I think the only thing really I got left is just the bottom of this, which I don't think that'll take me too long to do. Because I think I'm going to leave this how it is, and I'll just taper this around to make it work. It's not too far off now, but it's enough that it kind of bothers me a little bit, so I'll fix that guy. But I don't have anything fully welded yet, so everything still can move a little bit. But I have had off this strap to see if anything moves, and it doesn't move, but I just went ahead and put it back on. So when I weld everything up, hopefully it all stays where it should. As I finish up grinding down everything, that was always kind of my favorite things to do is fabrication. So the inner and outer rockers and all the inner panel structures and stuff like that is something that I always enjoyed doing, and I always enjoyed cutting stuff out and figuring out a way to make it work again. So that's always something I loved, and this Pontiac is not short of needing some love. So if you watched it all the way to the end, I appreciate it. And don't forget to come back next week for another episode of Andrew's Garage.